Hello, and welcome back to Project Leo. I'm Xavier Mendoza, and today I'll be talking to you about the PS2 controller, as well as the receiver that goes with it, that connects directly into our shield here, which then stacks on top of our Arduino. As you can see, this is pretty convenient for us, that we can stack vertically and save room. So nowadays, your phone, your computer are all wireless. So why can't we do that for our robotic systems? Send it out to go do a task far away, which we can. We can actually hack into a PS2 controller and program it within our Arduino software using if statements. So if statements. If X equals pressed, then in our programming we can say to turn on a light, to go forward, to do whatever we want. And essentially, we can create a command list through these if statements. Next, we're going to look at the PS2 shield and how it connects to our Arduino software. The first thing we want to do is look at the TX and where it's actually located. Straight out of the packaging, D3 is already selected for the TX pin right here. On the left side here, where you're right, is actually the RX pin, and straight out of the packaging is D2. So we're going to leave that alone, since we can call whatever pin. You can actually jump whatever. You can call D6, D9 over here, whatever you want. But for right now, we're going to leave it the default. We're going to look at the baud rate over here. The baud rate signifies what your actual PS2 controller is reading, how fast it's going. So you can actually jump these, but we're going to leave it the default 9600. So now we're going to connect it, our receiver and our shield together. There it just connects directly together. And now we can stack that on top of our Arduino. Just like such. Make sure you have all the pins connected and aligned. I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to work with our breadboard here. So we're going to use, in our programming later on, our PS2 receiver and our PS2 controller to turn on this LED here. So if you guys remember LED, the flat side is actually the ground. So I'm going to put it anywhere on this breadboard here. I'm going to jump my flat side, my flat leg, to a ground on the Arduino board, just like that. And now the other leg is going to be our signal pin. We're going to call that to pin 13. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And now we're ready to go. Next, we will look at the programming of the PS2 shield. But first, we want to connect it to our computer. Now keep in mind that our shield is already stacked on top of our Arduino. So once we plug into the computer, you can see right here it's blinking. And if your PS2 controller already has batteries, and when you turn it on, the on switch is located on the direct opposite side. So I'm going to switch it on, and you'll see that these two pair automatically. I'm going to turn them off, and the receiver will start to flash again. I'm going to turn them on, the controller on, and they're going to pair and be solid colors. So that way you know when your controller and your receiver are paired. But right now we're going to say battery life of our controller. I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to get our libraries from the internet. So the first thing you want to do is open up an internet browser, whether it be Google, Chrome, whatever. So go to Google and type in Citron, because that's the name of our shield. PS2 shield libraries. Library. Press enter. It's going to be the first one. It's going to be from GitHub. And we're going to click clone, download the zip. Oh, download two of them. Alright, so if you haven't already done so, open up our Arduino software, and then go to Tools. Actually, go to Sketch, include library, add zip file, and you're going to locate where you downloaded your library for the Citron. Oh, should be around here. Let me see. Right there. So locate it. Sorry about all the stuff we have open. I'm going to choose it. And down here, library added to your libraries. Check include library menu. So since it said it was already included, we can go down to our file examples and go to Citron master right here and go, we're going to run the example read button. So open that, you can close what you had before, expand this. Alright, so this is our Citron PS2 shield, the example they give you. So this is to read a button, but this whole section right here is a comment, that's why it's gray. But this section actually right here is digital buttons. So digital, if you guys remember, they can only read zeros and ones. So all these selections, on your PS2 controller are buttons, which can either read pressed or not pressed. Zeros and ones. And analog can read an assortment of different ranges. So instead of only detecting zeros and ones, it can detect that gray area, if you want to think about it like that. So going to our actual programming, we're going to look at the colored stuff, because that's our actual programming. So hashtag include these two libraries here, and that's the library we just downloaded right here, and this is so that we can use those pins that we selected earlier. This library right here. So we're going to create a soft serial, so that way we're not using the hard serial. So these basically coordinate to what the pins we selected before. 2 being that RX pin, and then 3 being that TX pin. And you can combine different assortments of RX and TX pins. Just put the jumper somewhere else. So say we jumped on our PS2 shield. Say we jumped our TX pin to D9, we would just call that 3 a 9 right there. But we're going to leave it the default 2 and 3. So LED define, it's basically saying that we have something hooked up to pin 13 of our Arduino, and going to void setup. So right here, you're creating a baud rate for your PS2 shield, and that's a jumper that we can also select as well. They had 3 options, the 9600 and the 2 other options, but we're going to leave it the default 9600. And then pin mode, you guys remember how to turn on LED, you have to declare that it's going to be an output first, and then we're going to write it low, just so that we start with the low, our LED being off. Okay, continuing, I'll void loop. So this whole section here, this is what I was talking to you guys about before, the if statements. So for this example here, if the PS2 read button select, so if the select button is pressed, if it's pressed, then it will turn our LED on high. And then there's only 2 options, a 0 and a 1, so the else will be a low. So if it's pressed, it'll be high, and if it's not pressed, then it'll be a low. So I'm going to download this to my Arduino here. Make sure I have it connected. Okay, we're good to go. Upload. Is uploading, compiling sketch, uploading. Once it's done uploading, I'm going to turn on my PS2 controller, make sure they're paired, and then the select button, when I press it, as you can see here, right there, I'm pressing the select button, and it turns on the LED. When I let go, it turns it off. I press it, I have to hold it to remain staying on. So if I press anything else, nothing's going to happen. But once I press the select button, because that's what we called in our programming, it turns it on. So for another example, we're going to use the circle button to call our LED on as well, just so you can get to a feel of what you can do in this environment here. So from our selection up here in our comment section right here, we have select, and we're going to look at for the circle button. So circle, I can literally copy and paste this, copy, and then just paste in that select section right there. Okay, and then I'm going to copy it. Alright, so just by doing that, we can use the circle button now to do the same thing we did with the select button. So I'm uploading, done uploading. Alright, so now I'm going to turn on my controller, make sure they're paired up, we're good to go there. And now when I press the O, or the circle, when I press it, it turns it on. When I press it, it turns it on. And you can, use this stuff to communicate wirelessly to your Arduino, and send this off to go do stuff you want to do. So that concludes the tutorial.